Hello everyone. In this session, we will spend time on how to use engineering software to teach steps in the segmentation process. Hopefully, you will clearly see the power of market segmentation after our discussion. Our related case application for segmentation analysis is the Kirin case. It is important to remember that before beginning any case, I strongly encourage you to get familiarized with the model being used by looking at the related tutorials first, then running the accompanying study examples. The tutorials can be found under Software Tutorials folder on our module section for the Canvas side. These tutorials are designed to work with the office study examples, so it's really important for us to run them first before jumping into the case analysis. So rather briefly again, the key idea here is that segmentation and targeting is a core business process that's used for identifying groups of potential customers. Customer needs, wants, and responses are different between the segments and similar within segments. As a company, we go after attractive customer segments that we could reach them profitably. And then we targeted and focused programs of positioning. We try to create differences between our offerings and the rest of the rivals' offerings. It is important to remember from our earlier discussion that the key idea with the segmentation is there is no such a thing as the best segmentation. And the reason for that is very simple. That is, there are a variety of different segmentation problems. There are short as well as long-term segmentation applications. Each of these uses of segmentation requires a different approach to segmentation process. The problem itself will define the appropriate number of segments. In other words, the best approach depends on the reason for undertaking the segmentation study. Therefore, it is safe to say that there will be many uses of segmentation. There is no single best segmentation. It really depends on the segmentation problem. In addition, for a segmentation study to be useful, it should result in manageable number of target segments. Often this is between 3 to 8, each with the substantial size, of course. It is difficult for a company to manage more than few distinct segments. A segmentation model requires a dependent variable, usually called a segmentation basis, and independent variables or segment descriptors. Segmentation bases should describe why customers respond differently, such as differences in their valuation of offerings, needs, and wants, whereas segment descriptors, such as age, income, use of media, help us marketers deliver different offerings to various customer segments. In practice, distinction between bases and the descriptors depends on the reasons for conducting the segmentation study. When in doubt, ask yourself the following very simple questions. Would this piece of information tell me what that customer wants? In which case, it should be treated as segmentation variable. Or does this piece of information tell me who that customer is and therefore should be treated as the discriminant variable? For example, gender would fall into second category most of the time, whereas the need for timely information usually falls into former category. After this short intro, let me provide a brief background about the Kirin case. The case describes the strategic situation facing Kirin back in 90s. Sapporo, which is the biggest rival, now sells more beer in the United States than Kirin, which gives it bragging rights in Japan to claim that it is the best-selling Japanese beer in America, one of the biggest beer markets in the world. To surpass Sapporo in the United States, Kirin needs to sell about 300 to 400,000 incremental cases of beer in the United States market. It plans to do that by introducing a new product rather than by increasing the advertising. And the main reason for that is the company believes that as a small market share import beer company in the United States, Kirin's advertising message could be lost among the heavy advertising firms such as the Heineken. Among the major questions, the new product team is most concerned about the identification of US import beer segments that would respond more favorably to new Kirin product concept. The team also wants to know who the potential customers in each segment and their needs, lifestyles, attitudes, and etc. So there are certain objectives of Kirin case application in here. The objectives of the Kirin case can be classified into threefold. First, the case help us to better understand your company's customer base, their needs, preferences, wants, even their constraints. Second, help us identify meaningful segments in a market that's similar within the group and different among the groups of customers. And lastly, by using the analytical toolset, the case help us to pursue attractive customer segment for classification with its marketing program. Kirin is a rich case which can potentially be combined with additional analysis on product design and positioning. In fact, we will come back to Kirin case and do additional conjoint analysis later in the term. In a nutshell, let's just go over with the story one more time. Kirin is in a very difficult business environment given that the import beer market is so saturated and very competitive. The million-dollar question for a marketing manager is how to target and retain the customers better and more efficiently. One key issue is to identify potential market segments that define the market for imported beers. The company has to decide on or one or more these segments and then build a new product concept to meet the needs of the segment that they're going after. Some of the questions top management tackled right at the beginning includes 1. Concentrating on a narrow segment of heavy user, or 2. Positioning the new product for 1 or 2 attractive segments, or 3. Positioning it across all segments to reach the broadest possible market and sales response. In order to come up with the meaningful segments, the company first tries to determine its customers' beer purchase behavior. If we can understand who the high potential customers and their needs are, basically we are going to be in a far better position to allocate our marketing efforts more effectively to target them. The challenge is it takes us off a lot of effort to acquire a new customer. So the issue is how do we make sure which customers we need to go after? Which are the customers in our current market that the ones that we really would like to retain and go after? In a broader lens, the case gives us the opportunity to see what kind of analytical tools are available to work with the segmentation issues and the benefits of these analytical tools to businesses.